And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome and good evening. This is Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. We are live. It is a Friday night, and the URC round 5 is about to get underway. We've got two matches actually happening concurrently. We have got Stormers taking on Ospreys, and elsewhere we've got Connacht taking on Leinster. Obviously, we are South Africans focusing on the Ospreys taking on the Stormers, and a very interesting clash, I think, in tonight. I think it's an Osprey side stacked with a lot of international talent. It's a Stormers side that have welcomed back quite a few big players as well. And if you look at sort of last week, for example, Stormers getting another win under the belt. They continue their sort of perfect form so far. When they beat Zebra 20 points to 37, it wasn't maybe their best of performances, but I thought pretty well assured. And the Ospreys are coming off quite a big thrash. Ulster putting 47 points to 17, a 30-point losing margin there for Ospreys. So they need to get a lot better tonight at the end of the day. They need to improve a lot. And looking at the lineups, it should hopefully be a really good game because we've got some very nice individual battles throughout the park. And, Ospreys having a very good and very experienced second row. Salman Murat, for example, is a very young player but needs to sort of take charge as the captain. For me, it's a very exciting loose chair for the Stormers. Two big players coming off the bench for the Stormers, in the likes of Joseph Dweber as well as Stephen Kitsoff. So a big opportunity for them to try and sort of stamp their authority. And I think we're in for hopefully quite a close game. I think the conditions will be quite interesting in terms of who can really navigate them the best. And the Stormers missing a couple of players as well. But before we sort of go any further, the big news, the big thing really, the big sort of focus is that you can get yourself some free bets. So a big thank you to BetCoza, who are powering all of our URC streams at the moment. So this Watchalong is brought to you by BetCoza. Now you can win yourself a free bet by going and predicting the score. And that's all you gotta do. You gotta go predict who's gonna win. And the winner will receive a 100 Rand free bet, whilst there will also then be a random draw for an additional 50 Rand free bet as well. So you can win yourself a free bet courtesy of BetCoza. First of all, obviously, you've got to sign up for BetCoza. So the link is in the description. So go and sign up for BetCoza. Go and predict the score, and you could be a winner. We've been giving away a lot of free bets. A lot of people have been saying that they've been using their free bets very well, getting some cash money going. So make sure that you get to use your free bets as well. You're also going to be putting a poll in the comments to see who you're backing. Right, so we've got a poll running in the comments as well, and then you can go and predict the score and win. So all you have to do is literally go to the website, you predict the score, you'll get into the draw. The person who predicts the closest score will win themselves a 100 Rand free bet. They will also then do a lucky draw for a 50 Rand free bet, courtesy of BetCoza. I see already a couple people are starting to put in their predictions, so make sure you go and get that sorted before the game kicks off in about 4 minutes' time. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know how the week was. I had a very long week, so hoping for some good rugby now to end it off. But let's go through the team, shall we? If we look at them at the moment, we'll start with the Ospreys, the home side. In the front row, Nicky Smith, Dewey Lake, Thomas Francis. Thomas Francis, I think, will be a very important player for them. In the second row, Adam Beard, Alan Wynne Jones, two British and Irish Lions. You then got Ethan Roots, Jack Morgan, and Morgan Morris. Obviously, not the strongest loose trio that Ospreys can put out, but certainly no mugs are the likes of those three. You got Reece Webb next to Stephen Myler in the halfback combination. Keelan Giles, very exciting player, very deadly if he does get ball in hand. Mike Collins, Owen Watkin, the two centers, Owen Watkin at outside center, which means that George North will be playing on the wing. And then you got Max Nagy at full back. Off the bench for the men from Wales, it's Scott Baldwin, Reece Henry, Tom Buerta, Reece Davies, Dan Lydiot, Ruben Morgan-Williams, Jack Walsh, and Luke Morgan. For the Stormers in the front row, it's Ali Vermaak, it's Andrew Hugo Fenter, and Neertling Bashir. Sel Murat, Marvin Ori completing the second row. Nama Klaba, Hachiba Diamani, and Evan Lewis are your loose trio. Very mobile loose trio, very exciting loose trio. You then got Paul DeVere partnering Monty Liebach. Leon Zass into the side. First game of the season for the very, very prolific number 11, who I think was knocking on the door for a Springbok spot. towards the end of last season. You then got Dan Duplessis at inside centre, Alapati Naua at outside centre, Angela Davis at 14, Clayton Blomkeys at 15. Off the bench, you've got Joseph Dweber, Stephen Kitsoff, and Brock Harris, so plenty of experience coming off in that front row, coming on rather. You're then got Ernst Van Rijn, Master Tennessee, and Billy Engelbrecht as the rest of the six, of the four, of 6 in the 6-2 split. And then you've got Gardner Simla and Sasha Ngomazulu, who drops down to the bench after a pretty assured performance a week ago at 12. So yeah, go get your bets in. I'm seeing, for example, that Dion's going to go Stormers by 13. I'm seeing Bryce going Stormers by 6. So people are locking their bets in, or their predictions rather. In terms of the bets, we are going to look at some of the odds that they have got going for this game, and you can still lock yourself in. There are going to be some live stats as well. So if we're looking at this game, for example, where's my tab? Here we go. Stormers are actually at 1.68 to win this game, which I don't think are terrible odds actually. I do think that they should win it pretty comfortably. Personally, so I've actually got Stormers on an outright victory, and I've also got Stormers on the handicap winner as well, which is also a little bit better. So I think I think you can get yourself win yourself some decent money if you back the Stormers today, and couple of other bets, for example, you're looking at, anytime try scorers, Angela Davis, Leon Zas, and Hugo Fenter back the most after that, Evan Rose, for example, and George North being back there. We've got 30 people have voted. Stormers very much being back to do the business. Although I think we'd be foolish to write off Ospreys, but I do tend to think that the Stormers will have too much firepower in their ranks today to come up short. But you never know. Things happen on tour. There's no David Williamson, which I think is a pretty big loss to the Stormers. He's returned back to South Africa. Him and Herschel Young's getting a few weeks off, or a bit of time off before the end of the tour. But that's a big opportunity now for right, Monty Leibach with ball in hand. We will have kickoff very soon. Right, so Storms will be playing left to right. And Miyako kickoff down the way. They go very central here to almost the kick on first tackle from the captain himself, Salman Murat, who gets up quickly to make that hit. And Osprey's looking to keep ball in hand so far in the early stage here. I reckon we're going to see our first box kick coming out from Reese Webb. And Reese Webb very much looking for touch there. He does find touch. A couple of comments in here. Dion Franks earlier was saying it was a big match. Dominique saying if Lions can win this team, Storms can do it too. Hey, listen, the Lions are a whole different prospect. Hey, we're wild. Dion says there are a couple of big name players back. Guess not the same team the Lions play. Well, I'm missing. I think we played against Justin Tipperick, to be fair, and there's somebody else as well who was playing for the Lions that actually these names to the Lions. So yeah, I don't think it's a weaker side. But yeah, a couple of people get your predictions in. First line of the day goes to Hachiva Diamani. Looking at the rolling more here are the Stormers as broken apart. Andre Hugo Fenter is controlling things at the back. Now it's giving it away to Paul de Vet after being trapped back in it. First carry of the day for Dan Duplessis, looking for the offload, but decides to go down to ground. And the ball's coming loose, and Reese Webb has jumped on that. Ethan Roots helping out off there. Oh, it's a very nice little snipe there on the inside from Mike Collins. Morgan now to Myla. Myla is a little bit delayed about what he's going to do. I think Watkins been caught there, so Osprey's back towards 22. So Reese Webb now trying to organize the team a little bit. It's carried back, so they can't get into touch. They do lose it. And Dulak just sort of taking the hit and going down, trying to create a better angle for Reese Webb, although he doesn't have too much space to work with. He won't be able to kick this into touch because it has been carried back. Now, I thought it was carried back, but evidently he must have got the call from the referee. So it's another Stormers line out. So I suppose they won the mini battle there. Gap is good, apparently. Thank you, Mr. Ref. Right, Penta goes to Marvin Ory. Marvin Ory pops straight down to DeVet. DeVet gives it pretty flat to Leibach. Gives away Dan Duplessis. Dan Duplessis puts his head down. So okay for him. Looking for quick ball here. DeVet going back to Leibach. Angelo Davis popped up on a short, and he has lost the ball though. And Hugo Fenter. Hugo Fenter managed to pick up and get going, but the ball was lost forward in contact. So a bit of an error there from Angelo Davis. But I enjoy the pace of that move there. You can see already Stormers trying to up the ante a little bit on attack. We do have an OSPREYS player down here. It's George North as well, which does not look good. And somebody who's had so many injury issues. I'll be very worried about this situation. Ball quite slippery, apparently. Apparently, it was rain in the warm-up, so I can understand why there have already been 2 handling errors. Ooh, it doesn't look good for George North. Looks like he's going to be okay to continue. Yep, he's putting weight in it. He's jumping up and down. Yeah, I think he's going to be okay. Which is good to see. He's such a good player. You want to see as much of him as possible. Wayne Pulak in the stands, watching on. You'll be very nervous to see any sort of injuries towards George North. He's going to be an important player in the end of year for the Wales. Right, first scrum of the day, and I must admit I've been very underwhelmed by the Stormers front row in the opening few rounds of the tournament. So I think Andy Vermaak and Eddie Michelle are under quite a lot of pressure at the moment, and they really need to make that step up. Yeah, good carry there by North. Reese Webb shows and goes. We run straight into Marvin Ory. Salamura trying to get over that ball. And wins the penalty. Very well done by Salamura. Well, you very rarely see a lock do that. But he was over very quickly with Salamura. It's actually very well done by him. That's a very good touch find from Monty Book as well. So, big opportunity here for Stormers. Just completely isolated, and Salamura does very well. Shows clear release, gets his hands over the ball, gets himself in position of power. And no matter what Dewey Lake wants to do, he's not shifting the Stormers captain from that position of strength. Marvin Ory at the front of the line. He hasn't managed to get the ball down, though, so this could very well be turnover ball. I think Alan Jones has done very well to get that ball up. First up, they need to try and rip this ball. They have managed to rip this ball. Comes away to Namaklaba. The Storm is doing well to manage to get that ball. It's available for Paul DeVet. He goes to Evan Lewis, his first carry of the day. Paul DeVet now going to Marvin Ory, puts his head down. Made hard in the tackle by Dewey Lake. Paul DeVet now going to the short side. Monibok obviously saw a bit of space. Then Malumikis puts in the grabber behind. Reese Webb deciding to kick it, not dotting it down. Keeping it all in play though. Monibok going back. Not sure it's the right option by Leibach, but the Stormers have retained possession. Now Paul DeVet is caught on the ball and loses the ball forward. So Stormers, as the rain starts to come down, a little bit in tatters. Yeah, I enjoyed the ambition of trying to keep the ball alive there, but really wasn't much on. Yeah, it wasn't the worst idea for Clem Blommetjies to try and slide the kick in behind. Just it was well watched by Reese Webb. Although I think if a Storm had another couple of phases, they might have actually found a bit of opportunity there. But anyway, we're back towards the halfway line. There's a scrum. It will be an Osprey's put in. Sorry, I mean Storm's put in. Vic saying, how many South African wins do you see this weekend? I reckon probably 2. I reckon maybe 3. I mean, I think you got back the Sharks. I think Stormers. I think Bulls. Maybe 3 actually. I think Lions have probably got the biggest sort of task ahead of them playing against a very good Ulster side. Glasgow Warriors did play well last week against the Bulls, but you do need to, you gotta feel that the Sharks are gonna be okay at the Shark Tank, be able to get that done. Ryan, you can still predict the score. It is on. As I said, the link is in the description. There's the pin comment. There you go, and predict the score. The closest. Person with the closest prediction will win a 100 Rand free bet courtesy bet Koza. There will also then be a lucky draw to see for anyone really. You will be able to win a 50 Rand free bet courtesy bet Koza. So make sure you go to that link in the description there and the pin comment to predict the score. You know, in the poll there, start the scrum there. Monty Bok goes down to see, doesn't go to we'll see he goes to himself. Ball comes loose here. Paul de Wet pops it up to now Klaba. And a bit of pressure gives it to Leon and Zas. Now de Wet goes to Murat. Murat decides to go himself. Driven back by Adelman Jones though. Paul de Wet. Back to Leon chipping over the top for Leon to chase. Not sure what's the right option. Just give to possession away back to Ospreys. But at the moment, Reese Webb is very much reading the game very well. That's 2 defensive reads he's made so far. Speaking of the Devil, he's pulling the ball back. Let's take it in so he can't go to touch. Listen behind there. There's a lot of chases here coming from Ospreys. It's a big tester for Monty Levock. He does come away with the ball. Good take from the far half. Now Simon Murat puts his head down. Now Blommetjies the first receiver, gets to shoot for Fenter. Paul de Wet sniping. Good take there by Simon Murat. Pops the ball up. Couple of fumbles there. Now Klaba comes away with it. He takes it into contact. Paul de Wet going to Blommetjies. Pops it up to Dan du Plessis, who's slightly isolated. And it looks like there's a knock on in the ruck there. Scrum wide. Will be a Stormers scrum. How's it, Keen? Hope you're well. Hope the week was good. Yeah, a couple of people getting their predictions in. I say go and predict the score on in the link in the description and the link in the pinned comment there. You can win yourself a couple of free bets courtesy of BetKoza. So Stormers now halfway between the 10-meter line and the 22. Got quite a lot of the left of the field to work with. It's another good platform being set. Bet goes to my Liebach. Goes short. The ball's been lost forward. And Leo, who's started quite slowly so far this match, just knocked it on. New Junior Boy saying, backing all South African teams for a win this weekend for my BetKoza multi-bet. Come on, Stormers. Yeah, look, we did a BetKoza boost, Forever Sports BetKoza boost a couple of weeks ago. We backed all the South African teams to win. Got 7-1 odds, and they did all win. I definitely won a bit of money there. So it was I was quite chuffed with that. So yeah, we were looking to have a Forever Sports bet boost next week as well. But there are plenty of different outcomes you can go and bet on, courtesy of BetKoza. As I said, you can get yourself some free bets as well. So you can turn that free bet into some cold hard cash, because I mean, who doesn't need more money? I mean, I'm sitting here in load shedding, being powered by an inverter. So if you don't have an inverter, get betting, maybe be able to buy an inverter. We're in water shedding in Johannesburg. We're falling apart down here. You'll be able to buy yourself bottled water. Who would have thought that we're buying ourselves bottled water in Johannesburg? Tough times, eh? Tough times. And a penalty for the Stormers at scrum time. Well, this could be the first points of the game. It's very, very kickable. Not driving straight is the call, so Stormers were under a lot of pressure there. But they do win a penalty, and Monty Bugs pointing straight at Poles. He wants to get the scoreboard ticking. Yeah, there's a big scrum coming in there from Ospreys, so the Stormers will be a bit worried about that. Nicky Smith definitely seemed to have the better of Netley Bashir. He wasn't impressed with that call, but the conditions are looking pretty torrid at the moment. They're going to go for 3 points here, Stormers. I think it's the right thing as well. Get the scoreboard ticking, get some points on the board. It's a long game ahead. The commentators talking about him as a potential Springbok fly half. I don't think he will be at the end of your tour, unfortunately. I think he will be the SAA fly half, though. So, you know, small wins. That's a good strike. And the flags are up. Couple of Stormers fans there. And no jerseys on site, despite it being pouring with rain. So Stormers open the scoring. They got 3 points ahead after the first 30 minutes. Bit of a scrappy first 30 minutes, it must be said. Vic saying the Stormers are trying to play fast running rugby in the rain. Miley getting us back underway. He also goes pretty central and very high. This will be a test of a Clayton Blomikis, who takes it pretty easily. He sit hard in the tackle, though. A couple of players come to his aid, but the ball pops up to the Osprey side. Reese Webb comes away with it. Reese Webb, not much on. Starts putting the kick behind. And Zaz has to get back and does dot down. Will be a goal on dropout, though, so that's not the worst result. Reese Webb spotted a bit of space in behind, but Leland Zaz managed to turn well and get back to save the day. Remember, the cutoff to predict the score is the 20-minute mark. So if you haven't made your predictions at 20 minutes, you won't be able to win that 100 Rand free bet. However, if you do continue to fill the form in, you will go into the draw for a 50 Rand free bet, courtesy of BetCoza, and to be used on BetCoza. So make sure you go and get that account of yours signed up. Monty Libok at the restart, going towards the left. Leland Zas is chasing hard, but George North off inside. Now Drew Lake puts his head down, mid hard in the tackle by Roos and Bashir. Evan Roos with a new haircut at the moment. It's a bit shorter than what we used to last season, like Adam Beard. That's a very good penalty being won there. Laua there on the top, made the tackle, got over the ball, won the penalty. So thank you very much. It was an interesting signing, was Lealua. I don't think anybody really saw it happening. The 34-year-old Samoan. Yeah, makes a good hit on NBA, manages to bring him down, gets over the ball, and by the time Morgan Morris arrives, he's holding on for a couple of seconds already. Vic saying, I can't wait to see Oxenchair, Bongi Manami, and Carly Solly coming with the bench tomorrow. Interesting front row dynamics. Yeah, no, it's a bit childish, isn't it? The quality in front rows that the Sharks have at the moment. Anyway, the Stormers back up the park under Hugo Fenter with ball in hand inside the 22 as well. So it was a really good kick to get there. They went to Evan Roos in the line out. They brought him down. Looking for the rolling ball again. It hasn't been that successful so far. Fenter does have the ball in hand. Let's come away with Paul DeVette, and Paul DeVette's been reeled in, looking for an offload, and I think you're going to be conceding a penalty here. Completely, I said it was Paul DeVette. Couldn't get the offload away. They brought him down. Reese Webb, who's been captain fantastic so far, makes a tackle and gets up over the ball very quickly. That's very good work by him. Very frustrating by Stormers. There's another good opportunity for them to try and find some points, but just not quite managing to execute properly. Accuracy lacking so far for the Stormers. Zach Morgan actually made the tackle, then Reese Webb was ready to pounce. It was a long week. Good line there. They're going, and Reese were going very flat to Morgan Morris. Even was making the tackle. But knocked on as the call, or forward pass, I think. Forward pass from Wish. That seems a bit harsh, I must admit. I definitely look at the weather, I believe, because we're just looking at lights. But yeah, it looks pretty horrendous weather-wise. But another handling area in the match. That's another scrum. I think you've had about 5 or 6 already so far. Peter is saying Stormers is in good shape, needs to keep the ball in hand and start playing New Zealand type of rugby. Look, it is very, very wet. So I think a bit of more technical news. Very, very nice kick by Mine Liebach. But yeah, it was carried back, so it won't be the yeah, Liebach's playing a bit of a territory game, kicking in towards the corner. But so far, Stormers dominating all the territory. Looks like Famark and Ali Famark has lost his number on the back. Yeah, see, this is the thing. They're having a check with the 522. Yep, so 522, which is what I thought was the plan there. So it's turnover ball here. Yeah, perfectly done, really. I mean, to the last inch there from Monty Box. That's the perfect 22. I must admit to not being a fan of the concept, but the result for 22 has been awesome, and that's a very different looking line. Dan Duplessis has burst through the middle, almost getting through as well. Look at the quick ball here. Paul DeVere pops it up to Namakaba, and there's been another knock on. I think it's Fenter there who's looking very upset with life. He knows he needs to have done better. It was looking pretty promising there from Stormers, but the slippery ball, they really are struggling to grip it, and we're going to have another scrum. I think we're in for a very messy game here, people. I think settle in. If you don't like scrums, I don't think you enjoy this game, because it is very messy. Couple more people getting your bets in. You've literally got 30 seconds, people, to get your predictions in. And then we'll have a cut-off. However, you can then still predict the score and go into the draw to win a 50 Rand free bet. Remember, you have to have a BetCoza account in order to be able to redeem this. So make sure you go and get that sorted now as well, so we can get your free bets to you tomorrow, hopefully. We will have a reset scrum here. Obviously, it takes the girlfriend until the screen froze. Not even. She's on the she's boozing at the moment. Albert says SAT is doing fine. Very exciting times for the World Cup. SAT going to have to play in wet conditions. Dominic, what do you think about the line so far? We're operating. We are operating. The buggers are playing. Tomorrow's a big game, though. I must admit, I'm very nervous about OSPREYS tomorrow. I think that we've ridden a very nice wave. Tomorrow could very well be coming out to an end. But hey, if it comes to an end, tomorrow comes to an end. And I think we've done very well to get you. I don't think any of us thought that we'd be 4 matches in and won 3 of them already. Considering I think we only won about 8 all the last season. So I'm very happy. Very, very happy Lions supporter. Just hasn't happened in a while, to be fair. Post-COVID, we've not had a good time. It's a much better scrum there from OSPREYS. Has gone down, and the ball is the back there for Reese Webb to use. Decides to go to the short side. And Collins will kick out. And then there's just no stop. I don't know where Angelo Davids was there, but it's a brilliant kick from him. I mean, he's found touch halfway to the team in the 22. So you got almost got 22 to 22, but this weather looks horrible. Yeah, spotting the space there. Angelo Davids is up. Yeah, that's a perfect kick. If it stayed in, it would almost been interesting actually, because Keelan Giles was after that. But oh, this weather looks horrible. Oh, this looks horrible. I couldn't think of anything worse. I honestly couldn't think of anything worse. Especially when you think I'm sitting here in Johannesburg and I'm like sweating because it's so blooming hot. However, though, we would like that water. We've got water shedding in Johannesburg. I mean, what the hell is water shedding? I mean, really? Tough times, yeah, people. Tough times. Right. Darmani going up with the line up there, looking for another rolling maul. Haven't seen too much of a success from it. Fenter controlling it. And Fenton needs to get this ball away. He's going to become short here. Yeah, and Reese's got over it. Paul DeBet's managed to get down there. That's a big counter rack coming. It is a turnover ball. Said that Fenton needed to use it, and he didn't. Adam Jones at scrum half. But it's ball not backwards. Oh, my living. There's people just jumping. Keenan Giles come away with it. It's a good run there from Giles. Ospreys with the ball. Wade Collins might have decided to put the ball over the top. And Monty Bach happy to just sort of shepherd the ball out. But jeepers, this is looking very messy. It is pelting down. Goodness me. Just call it off, people. Call it off. Stormers can't play in this sort of conditions. Yeah, it's a great counter rack. And then the ball, there was a bit of fumble. Keelan Giles doing very well. Yeah, picking up the ball off the deck. It's a good tackle actually made by Darmani. Or Keelan Giles could have been away there. But yeah, Stormers just struggling to keep it a little bit tight here. And we are having a water break. I mean, guys, they're practically swimming up there. What do we need a water break for? Right, so the predictions are locked in. Thank you to everybody who has predicted the score. You are all entered into potentially winning a 100 free bet. You can still fill in the form though. We will be doing a lucky draw for a 50 Rand free bet, which we'll be doing just toward the end of the game. So yeah, go to the link in the description. Go check the pinned comment. You can go and just fill in the form. Don't have to do anything like that, anything else really, and you could go and win yourself a free bet courtesy of BetCozy. You do have to have a BetCozy account though, so make sure you go and sort that out. Got a bit of a break here, so just quickly there, we get your BetCozy account sorted. I've got some money on the Stormers winning, so hopefully the buggers pull through. James saying Stormers can't play in the Storm. Yeah, basically. And it's a fumble there from the Stormers. I think he came forward. Darmani came away with it, but forward from the line-out, so it'll be another scrum, and the Stormers really now struggling with the wet. And Ospreys all of a sudden have an attacking scrum on the 22. Yeah, some are trying to tap the ball back and just tapping it straight up, basically. Sure, good shot there. Dominique saying they need a coffee break rather than a water break. I mean, it looks absolutely horrible. I credit to the fans again. I must admit, when I first saw the crowd, I was like, this is pretty poor. Look at the lack of people there. Looking at the weather, fair play. Because I must admit, I remember going to watch Manchester United. Look with Manchester United, so you're not going to miss that game or anything like that. But I remember being the coldest I've ever been, ever. And I've definitely been watching like rugby games, pre-games, where you're just wet, you're cold, and you're like, this is just not even funny anymore. Like, this is just cuck. And this weather, this is a very good scrum from Ospreys, by the way. They're standing here, they're going to have another reset. Alan Jones can't believe it. But all of a sudden, this Ospreys pack definitely seemed to have the better of Ali Famark and Nelly Bashir. So they need to try and shift up here because they are really struggling under the pump here. I reckon we might even see Kitsov coming on before half time at this rate. Pete saying, what is your opinion on how the Storm's performance has been the past 2 years? I've really enjoyed watching the growth, and I think a lot of credit has to go to John Dobson. He was under so much pressure. People saying he wasn't good enough and needed to be replaced, but he just stuck to his guns. He created the culture, and he's managed to find some really good gems. You know, Mine Leibach's been an absolutely sensational signing for them. Hachiba Diamani's been a sensational signing for them. So they're doing really well. Even Rus, for example, was kind of tossed aside at the Sharks, and they gave him a chance. And look how these players are sort of paying them back. And I think that John Dobson's very much getting that sort of I believe in you. That you're playing for the in football. You talk about playing for the manager. This Stormers team really does play for their coaches. They really do believe in the system. They believe in what they're doing. It's a very united front. So I've been very impressed with that side of things, and it has started and it has then translated onto the pitch. I don't think anybody predicted them winning the URC, so I mean, it was pretty impressive of them to go and do it. Die, mosquito, die. Morgan Morris has gone down the side. They've got a penalty advantage here to the OSPREYS. Now it's Zach Morgan. It's a good tackle made by him by Solomon Rutt. Ethan Roots, they're going through the entire loose trio here, OSPREYS. Now, it's a bit of an awkward pass to Giles. Giles on the side. There's a lot of Stormers players coming across, so he cuts inside. He's eventually brought down by Shiva Diamani. Leilua trying to come through. Dewey Lake decides to put his head down. Still penalty advantage here for the OSPREYS. Myler. Owen Watkins almost through the gap. There's got an overlap. They've got numbers here. Inside just comes Morgan Morris. Oh, good hands. Dewey Leg. Oh, Dewey Leg. The ball just popped straight up. So it's turnover ball, but they will go back for the penalty. And I reckon we could very well see... I think we're going to see them take the points here. Yeah, it looked a bit better for the Ospreys. A bit of desperate. Oh, this is a big call here. They're going for the line. All right, here we go. Go to the front of the line. They're good line out from the Ospreys. They're coming away. I thought I heard the referee say advantage, but I'm not seeing it pop up. Looking promising here though from the Ospreys. They're just short. Zach Morgan now just can't get grounding here. Just short his leg. Desperate defense here from the Stormers. They go again. That's Nicky Smith now. They pop it. Oh, my living trying to run the hands here. And Reese Webb has lost it forward. And it's knock on advantage. Well, they've absolutely butchered that. Now the Stormers trying to run it outside their own 22. Angela Davids. They've got space here. Angela Davids pops it to Clayton Blommerkeys. Surely that was forward. And penalty for the Stormers. But I think Angela Davids... I just don't understand how they didn't call the forward pass. Now there's a bit of off the ball stuff happening between Dan Duplessis. And I think that's Zach Morgan, the youngster. Yeah, I mean, really, Angela Davis got to put the hammer down. I mean, how would that not call the forward pass? I've got no idea. I mean, that was horrendously forward. Keaton Giles is down and getting some attention. Looks like a head knock. Big saying it was raining like this in Joburg. Ellis Park would have 2 fans in the stadium. Yeah, listen, I'm not sure I would be one of them either. Yeah, I have no idea how this referee's not called this forward. I mean, this was miles forward. You know, they're not going back either, eh? And they're going for the poles here as Mangibok trying to put in his goal kicking in display. Bring himself to that box setup. Right, Mangibok, as I say, can he, if he start landing a couple more kicks up like that, I think it very much puts himself into Springbok territory. Now, I go over here. Marvin always having some water, which was supposed to actually technically be disallowed. The fact that you could only have water when they actually had drink sprays. But I don't know why. Like that's the thing here. Man's saying to take 90 seconds to take this kick. Why can't you just throw a bit of water around here and not have a not have a water break? I tell you, said it was clearly backwards. Yeah, listen. Cross said, do you think any of the current under 20 Bok players will get franchise deals? Current under 20s, the ones that don't have. I mean, who are they? I mean, obviously, Kane Moody was involved. Under 20 Springboks. I think Nico Steyn obviously will. I think will play for the Boks. I mean, for the Lions. I think he'll come through the system there. Right, Marnie Liebach. Inside his own half. Looking good. Looking good. Has the distance as well. That's a great kick from Marnie Liebach. So the Stormers do double their lead. Right, let's have a look at the SC under 20, shall we? And see. Because there are a lot of players who already have contracts. So I think Veelbach and Vokazello, I think will make it. Rand Ludwig will make it. Fenty was already making it. That's a very good take from Kane Blommeke's off the kickoff there. Under a lot of pressure though, but these Ospreys players need to release Mr. Ref. Under a lot of pressure there. Sending it back to Marley Box. Outside 22, lifts it high in the air. Lula and Angela Davis chasing hard, but it's a good take by Max Nagy. Drew Lake first receiver, Maya going flat to Edelman Jones. Edelman Jones looking for the offload, and it's gone forward. We're gonna have another scrum here, people. Yeah, Nico Steyn and Sasha Gomezulu. I think you will see them at Imar Khan's supposed to be very highly rated. Two and Hartsburg's obviously already playing for Stormers. Ethan James is a nice player on the bench. I think I quite like Neil Leroux. I think Sia and Giza is a very nice player. So I think we'll see quite a few of this year's under 20s in the franchise in the next couple of years. Did Lewis get a haircut? No, he did get a haircut before he went over. I noticed that in the first game overseas that he does seem to have shorter hair. Man's getting like the looks ready for the Bok, dude. You gotta get the Bok haircut for the end of your tour. That SAA call-up's coming. Right, so scrum on the halfway line. Stormers are lining up mostly towards the left, or the Cleveland Monkeys are now shifting towards the right. Right, so this is a Stormers put in. And I think Paul DeBet will want to get this out pretty quickly. Well, it looks like a bit of a better set, but I think there's a bit of pressure coming from OSPREYS. Paul DeBet does get it out, goes to Marnie Liebach. Marnie Liebach, once again, searching for that 50-22, launching towards the right. Keelan Giles well placed. Away to Nagy, who does find a very good touch finder once again. The clearance from OSPREYS, that's two very good clearances from them where they're putting the Stormers back towards the halfway line. So, in fact, past the halfway line. So that's a very good kick back. Stormers back inside their own half. So they've actually lost field possession there, Stormers. Funny how those little passages of play work out, eh? Adam Beer is going to have a lack of shine on his eye there tomorrow. Right, Fenta goes to Russ, the front. Paul de Vet long to, or inside ball was a nice idea, but Angelo Davis has popped it inside. Martin Liebach there saw a man flying at him and said, I'm not taking this hit. Pops it inside to Angelo Davis, who wasn't expecting it. Knock on. All of a sudden, Ospreys are on the front foot there. Who's it? I think it's Reese Webb is absolutely lining up Martin Liebach, who then tries to pop it inside to Angelo Davis, who wasn't expecting it at all. Couple of back-to-back errors here from the Stormers. Just need to settle back into the game a little bit. 5 handling errors from Ospreys, 6 from the Stormers, 11 in total so far. We did say it was going to be a very messy match. Kwasi, thanks so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. I would say I want to see what Ngomzulu could do with the bench. Why is Angelo in front of the 10? I imagine he's around there to chase the up and under, which I think was probably going to be the plan had because they were all very flat. Reach Webb, a little bit out the back door pass there. It's not the best pass now. He chips it ahead for Giles to chase. And Martin Liebach's under a lot of pressure here. And they're going back for penalty. I don't know who. I think it's for Ospreys as well. Standing up on the scrums. It's a penalty for Ospreys. Surely they're going to have to take the points. Yeah, I mean, we're sitting almost 35 minutes. With 5 minutes left, yeah, they will have a shot at goal. 5 minutes till half time. No points on the board. I think it'd be pretty silly not to go for goal here. Yeah, I think you're going to see Kitsov coming off on a half time. I'd be very surprised if we don't see both these players replaced. I think Brock Harris will stabilize Song as well as Stephen Kitsov. I reckon we'll probably see a full front row change at half time from the Stormers because their front row really is under the pump. A reminder that even if it's too late to win the 100 Rand free bet, you can still win a 50 Rand free bet. To do that, go to the link in the description. Go and put in your prediction, and we'll be doing a random draw, and some lucky person will win 50 Rand courtesy of BetCoza to use on a bet this weekend. Yeah, it's a very, very simple kick there for Mila. And what's been a very messy game, a very tight game, a very wet game, separated by just 3 points, as you'd probably imagine. Which is why that handicap at 2.5 is looking pretty good so at the moment. All right, so 4 minutes to go. I think Stormers would like to try and score some more points for half time. But Money going towards the left-hand side, lifting high in the air. Well taken. It's a good carry as well. Take was by Watkin. Reese Webb exits well. They have exited well, must be said. I mean, their exit play has been pretty good so far for the Ospreys there. Very much settling into the game at the moment. We're late at the line, taking a while to get going. Yeah, come on, people. Let's get this ball in. Right, 3 minutes to go to half time. Marvin already calling the shots. And he is the obvious candidate. They do go to Marvin Ori at the front of the line, uncontested, brings the ball down. Once again, they're looking for the maul, but it's being shoved back once again as well. So I think Paul DeVet's going to have to come and half enter out. He's taking a shirt off in the process. Paul DeVet's lifted this high in the air. It's right up against the touchline, and it's gone out into touch. So, yeah, Stormers struggling in the last sort of 10 minutes with the conditions a little bit. And the Ospreys packs definitely got the upper hand when it's tight. I think when it opens up a little bit, I think the Stormers are looking a bit better, as you'd imagine. But at the moment, under very wet conditions, the Ospreys have very much dominated the mauls. They're very much dominating the scrums. And Stormers are making far too many mistakes. I mean, that kid from Paul DeVet was never staying in. And the Ospreys, for all that they haven't played particularly well, nor had a lot of ball, are only 3 points behind. You know, so very much in the game here. A 5-man line out here. Like very flat there to Morgan Morris. It's a big hit on him though. Wave goes to the thing and turning around there. Oh, it's a very good line being run by Collins. Collins needs support. And it's George Nord. That's a good tackle being made there by Paul DeVet. He does have a lot of pace, Paul DeVet. Doesn't get left behind by many. Reese Webb goes to Myler. Now good hands there. Oh, but big tackle coming from Angela Davis, but they managed to get it away. Giles down the side. Looking to come inside. Gets inside of one. Brought down by Blomikis. Ospreys are 5 meters short up against touchline. Reese Webb gives it short to Morgan Morris. Reese Webb decides to go to the line side. Morgan Morris, can he get the hands on? Oh, no! Giles has left it forward. He's knocked it forward. Oh, they butchered it. They've absolutely butchered it at the Ospreys. Had to score there. Had to score. Good scramble defense, it must be said. But here, just... I mean, all that ball had to do was go to hand, and Keenan Giles just can't hold on. If he does, it's over. He's uncontested. There's nobody in front of him. Good set piece move though. That little workaround with Reese Webb coming around the back there, opening up that space for Colin. Drew and Salman Murat very well. It's a quite nice angle to actually watch how everything's playing across. Yeah, scramble defense there from Liebach there. Keenan Giles to step inside. Just buys a few times. But literally, that last pass goes to hand. Ospreys are over and they'll go into the break with the lead. But now the Stormers, it's a case to get the ball back, kick it out, go into the shed, 3 points ahead. All right, Hooter's gone. We are into the red. So this will be the last player of the half. It's a big scrum from Ospreys. Our Storm's going to be able to get this out. Oh, it's stirred up again. And Ospreys are fuming. They're not getting a lot of reward here. And the referee at the moment, very, very wary of actually awarding a penalty. So Ospreys not getting any result for the scrum dominance that they have had. You can't call this the Springbok pack yet, chaps. I mean, they've just said the Springbok pack's under a lot of pressure. You've only got 3 cat players in the entire pack, and 2 of them in the second row, and one of them is number 8. Like, when Kitsoff and the buggers come back on, like, yeah. But yeah, I'd have to change the front row at half-time to the Storm as well. Else they're going to be for a very long game. This ball needs to go straight underneath. Paul DeVet's got to get this ball out. Well, Stormers actually get the penalty. Evan Roos shoving away Reese Webb. He needs to be careful. He's getting a bit of a reputation, and you don't want to stifle the nice enthusiasm, but he has conceded a card for petulance, really. So Martin Liebach dips that out. So the Stormers will go in with a 3-point lead. It's pretty scrappy half. Not a particularly watchable half for rugby, it must be said. Very scrappy game. Lots of knock-ons. I think we had about 13 or 14 handling errors. Lots of scrums. Very tight, horrible conditions. It is raining quite a lot. We will be back in a few minutes. So go and get your beverages. Go and get yourself... get your score predictions in, by the way. You said you can still win that 50 Rand free bet. So a couple people are adding their names to that pot. We'll be drawing that. And now you're at half-time. Go get yourself that Betco's account. Just for the next second half, we will be giving you guys some odds and stuff like that on the game itself. There are some updated and the handicaps are looking pretty good, I think. Yeah, we'll see you guys in a little bit. Right, and we are back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And Stormers leading by three. Lead by three. All the points coming off the boot. Joe Straber has still got a vest on. Interesting to see if Stephen Kitsoff and Brock Harris are close to coming on. If they're not on already, because I think Nedley Bashir and Ali Famak are very much under the pump here. Ospreys came alive a little bit towards the end of the first half. But Stormers hanging in there with a 3-point lead. It's been very sloppy. It's been very messy. So hopefully we'll see a bit of a more free flowing half in the next 45, because it was a very scrappy first 45. Anyway, Marlon gets things back underway. Ospreys playing left to right this time. They trail by 3. The Stormers, good start. Playing Lomaki is a good take from under the high ball. Yeah, I need to adapt to the wet conditions a little better than they did in the first half. Monty Bach has controlled the game pretty well. Flower half, his tactics has been pretty good. And so has his goal kicking with his 2 efforts so far. And now he's just fallen right in front of Namaklaba, who usually would love that situation. Like, yep, not getting a result this time. Reese Webb going to the boot. He's probably pushed us too far. In fact, it's just about perfect. Monty Bach's actually let that bounce. It's actually been a knock on. Morgan Morris come away with it, so it's a pretty poor bit of play there from Monty Liebach. Now Reese Webb sees a bit of space and decides to put the chip in above. But Azure Davis as well to go back there, and they will go toward the scrum back there. Yeah, Monty Liebach there, just a bit of a no man's land. It was pretty well executed kick from Reese Webb. It looked like it was going too far, but then it held up just outside. And he goes up and then just lets it bounce and bounce straight up and back and off him. So very poorly judged there for Monty Liebach. I was saying I'm predicting Stormers to get the grips with conditions. Second half go live. Halloween says Welsh Rugby these days bloody shambles. Well, I mean, it's 3 points. It's not that bad, but yes. I think Welsh Rugby has certainly been had better days than what they currently have at the moment. But anyway, so the Ospreys scrum. They've got the full width of the right-hand side to work with. George North is hugging the touchline. And yeah, I mean, he's if there's one person you want to be able to give a bit of space to, then yeah, look, I reckon George North is definitely one of those players. Anyway, it's a scrum though, so Ospreys have very much had the upper hand, looking to get a second shove, and it does come, and Reese Webb does lose it, or use it rather, and it's a good hit there on Collins there. Now Roots, supposed to Roos, Edelman Jones. Roos is up there quickly, managed to get the offload away to Zach Morgan. Now we're going to Collins, pops it up towards Nicky Smith. No, sorry, it's Morgan Morris. Scrum caps and beers really not helping us. Gets away to Dewey Lake. Dewey Lake's very isolated, and his opposite number, Andrew Hugo Fenters, all the way over him. He will win a penalty. He enjoyed that as well, did the youngster. Completely isolated was Dewey Lake there. Needed some support, didn't really come. And Fenter helped himself, as they say. Helped himself. Just been in there and said, thank you very much, Chief. A reminder, right now, if you go and predict the score, you can go into the draw to win 50 Rand free bet courtesy of Betcoza. The people that predicted the score before the first 20 minutes will go into, we'll stand a chance of winning 100 Rand free bet. Let's see what Betcoza have actually got for us. We've got a bit of a break. Betcoza are powering the stream, so a big shout out to Betcoza. And let's see what they've got for us right now. We've got some live games going on. So we're going to have a look at exactly what this game, what they've got to offer us over here. Right, so your live odds, you've got a handicap of minus 2.5 for Stormers at 1.78 odds. Paul DeVet under a lot of pressure from the line, a bit of a messy line there. Need to try and get this ball back because it's a bit counter rack. It's well taken down by Chiva Daimani. He just grabs the ball. Ospreys players didn't really enjoy that, but he was in his rights to do it. A lot of pressure here being mounted by Ospreys, but Stormers managing to get the ball. Now Paul DeVet just pausing, putting Nedley Bashir in a bit of pressure. And winning a penalty if not rolling away. Yeah, so the live odds, Ospreys are 2.5 at the moment to win. Stormers are 1.58. We've got some overs and unders. So over 28.5 is sitting at 1.8. Unders are 1.9. I'd be very surprised if we get to over 27.5. In fact, I might put a cheeky bet on that. Given how scrappy it is at the moment. good line taken by Marvin Ory. Pots down to Paul de Verde. Goes to Mike Levi. Goes short to now Clubber. Quite an industrious ball carrier. We've been very little of Evan Roos tonight. Here he is. Up to 22 here are the Stormers. Paul de Verde digging forward. Now deciding to go towards the right. Pops up to Ali Mark, who's driven back by his opposite number, Nicky Smith and Alan Jones. Paul de Verde now going to Evan Roos. Evan Roos still not managing to sort of give that impact that he'd like so far in the game. Marvin Ory, a bit of a juggle, but doesn't manage to hold on. Gets up towards 22. Storm's not managing to find any gain line success. Now Venter puts his head down. Slips though. And it's a penalty and it's a push from Salam Murat. And he puts his hand up and apologizes. The captain just letting them down. And this is what I'm talking about Storm's accuracy. Just hasn't really been there so far in this game. And they've got to improve it, because if they don't, they're keeping Ospreys in the game. That's the frustrating thing. You know, they've had opportunities to really score and try and put Ospreys, I wouldn't say put them away, but just sort of put them at bay a bit more. But Ospreys are very much in this game. I mean, it's a 3-point game. So you can see the ball goes to Fenter, and Salam Murat shoves Fenter into the tackle. Yeah, here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Brand new front row. Joseph Dweber, Stephen Kitsoff, and Brock Harris onto the park. Joseph Dweber rocking the tucked in look. Brock Harris with the XP. Stephen Kitsoff, well, we know his pedigree. But very excited to see some more of Joseph Dweber. And speak of the man. Oh, he was keen. He was keen. They give it away to Dan Klaber. He gives it away to Money. Money sees a bit of space. Pops it up, but nobody's there. Joseph Dweber pops it up towards Evan Roos. Evan Roos found a bit of space. Evan Roos is going on a bit of a run. Here's the Evan Roos we know. He's still going. He's still going. Look for the offload. Look for the offload. Takes the contact. Gets past the 5 meter. Slow ball. You have Paul de Verde. Manages to get it to Levox. Bit of a juggle from Murat. And he's smashed by Alan Jones. The ball does go backwards though, I think. So Stormers do retain possession here. Paul de Verde popping up to Stephen Kitzel. Spicy plum first carry. It's a big hit on him though from Zach Morgan. A big counter-attack coming as well. Marvin Ory doing well to get across and get involved. But there is a knock-on. It will be a scrum to Ospreys, so the new front row for Stormers will have an opportunity here to have a go at the Ospreys front row. But that's a bit better from Evan Roos. You see, it's amazing. Literally, the first piece of like broken play we've seen, and all of a sudden Stormers has come alive, and all of a sudden you see Evan Roos and that sort of, he's deceptively fast, isn't he? And as soon as you start getting into that openness, it's a big tackle here by Jack Morgan though. Rides the hit of Stephen Kitsoff, then Nicky Smith comes in to help out and then drives him down. Great tackle here. I mean, it's probably good tackling technique as well. Gets himself nice and low, hits Kitsoff well below the shoulder, dominates the collision. Very, very good tackle from Zach Morgan. Been impressed by the youngster so far. Yeah, so now I think we need to see a change in the tight 5 here from Stormers, because they really struggled to get into the game there. And I think the new front row is going to have to really stand up and take control. You've got 2 Springboks, Stephen Kitsoff, Joe Dweber, and they got to put their hands up and say, you know what, we're now taking charge of this. We're now taking charge of the situation. Very messy looking scrum. So, yeah, it's a free kick to Osprey. Quickly by Reese Webb. but not on the mark, so he has to come back. Yeah, scrums have been very messy at the moment. They've had a lot of resets. Look, I do think that Ospreys have deserved more from the scrums. I think the ref has been quite lenient with them because the Stormers in the first half were definitely being out scrummed, and the Ospreys weren't getting any results from it. They weren't getting any reward. They keep an in play. That's tested for Clayton Blomkeys. Goes up. It's a good take from him, though. He's been pretty good under the high ball tonight, it must be said. Under a lot of pressure, though, and a penalty. George North, of all players. Clayton Blomkeys a bit isolated there. Storm is not doing well to protect the ball carrier, and they can see the penalty. And Ospreys very much going into the game, very much on top at the moment, I'd say, and taking the three, so they could be leveling things up, yeah. I mean, you got Diamond and Kitsov there, and George North winning the penalty. Not what you'd like to see as a coaching staff, is it? I mean, you really expect, especially someone like Kitsov, who is so good at the breakdown. And George North, well, he's hadn't had a lot to do with ball in hand, so he's having to go look for work. Good looking kick from Isla. Yep, straight through. Scores a level after the 50-minute mark. Ospreys are definitely thinking they've got the momentum at the moment. Stormers just trailing a little bit. They've got to try and man up at front. You know, they're being bullied at scrum time. Their line's working, but the more's not working. And it's been very tight, which hasn't suited the Stormers at all. Stormers really need that sort of openness about them. Was where they really struggle, where they really thrive. So it needs a couple of people just to front up, a little bit of aggression, I think. And I think Joseph Webb will hopefully provide a little bit of that. Leon Zas chasing hard. But it's a good take there from Ethan Roots, as opposed to Evan Ruiz. Keeps up working hard at the ruck time there. Just disrupting a few things. Now Reese Webb. They've exited well all evening. It's not his best kick, but still managed to get up there. Langford saying, go Stormers, easy tries, Boykeys, muddy game, but yeah, it has been very muddy and very sloppy. Not been a very watchable match, I must admit. But the conditions, it's all about the conditions. Very wet conditions. If you want to see conditions for running rugby, tune in at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Lions versus Ulster should be an absolute scorcher. Literally, I reckon it's going to be about 32 degrees. Let's see what the weather's saying for tomorrow here in Johannesburg. It's currently 25 now. I mean, 25 degrees now. It's quarter to 10. And I'm sweltering 23, so let me not exaggerate. But tomorrow at 2 o'clock, it's set to be 31 degrees in Joburg. So perfect conditions for running rugby. And Joseph Weber's first lineout is skew. His lineout issues continue. All right, so another scrum here. Stormers' issues continue. Ospreys, top Wales team, lots of big names there. I'd probably say, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Ospreys and probably Cardiff. I like that Cardiff squad. Farrell's obviously a very good player. Liam Williams there. Cardiff taking on Dragons though this weekend, so that should be quite a cool match tomorrow. At the moment, Leicester beating Connacht by just 7 points, by the way. Nice and close game there at the sports ground, and Stormers looking to run outside their own 22, and Collins almost caught in about Dandridge, but it was a good defensive effort from Stormers inside centre. Now Myler pumps it down the middle of the park, and Blomkeys. Now what can he do? Sees a bit of space, looking for that 50-22, or just sort of We have a tactical battle here. Nagi now returning the favors. Is he going to find touch? It bounces. Stays inside for Dan Duplessis. Dan Duplessis gets away from one. Tackled by another one. Just inside the in half yard of the Stormers. Paul DeVet pops it to Salman Murat. Makes a few meters. It's a good carry from him. Now Paul DeVet goes to the boot. Lifts it high in the air. Angela Davis is chasing, as is Marvin Ori. Lots of traffic for Angela Davis to get through, so it is a clean take from Ospreys. Stormers forfeiting possession. Now Reese Webb returns the favour, puts it high in the air. Blomekes has called it. Blomekes taking it well outside the air, pops it up to Paul DeVet. Excuse me. Bloody bugs. Now Stephen Kitsor puts his head down. Another big hit on him, but does manage to maintain possession. Paul DeVet pops it up towards Mangaliba. He takes it on the charge. Good hands there. Inside ball to Leon Zas. Leon Zas burst through the middle. He's got Paul DeVet for company. This should be a try. Paul DeVet's very quick. No one's going to catch him. Paul DeVet. Well, that's something out of nothing. And what we say, as soon as he gets a bit loose, the Stormers are over. First try of the match. And how easy was that? And ironically, it was under pressure. Paul DeVet just sort of popped the ball up in the air, and that forced Mangaliba to take it on the charge. And all of a sudden, there's a bit of gap, bit of space. Leon Zas running the perfect line, realizing there was space there, comes on the inside and sees bang, gets himself on the inside of a tight head. Paul DeVet runs a good running line. Leon Zas just draws him in. Paul DeVet's very quick, so I don't think there was every issue of him finishing. Well, something out of nothing though. Leon Zas first game back of the season. Try assist. Paul DeVet, the man that finishes it off. And the Stormers, who look pretty disjointed, all of a sudden managed to turn on for like literally like 2 moments. Couple of key passes, couple of key runs there. Bob's your uncle. They're over. They go. First try of the match in the bag. Something's happened, so they're going to have a look here. Oh, they're having a look at foul play here. The try's not going to be the issue here, but I think that Ethan Roots could be in trouble. It looks like there could almost be some shoulder-to-head contact on Stephen Kitsop. Yeah, Morgan Morris gets up the line, which is what creates the space. But now it's this hit over here from Roots on Kitsop here. So it could be some foul play. So it could be a double bonus from the Stormers. They might not only have a try, but they might also have... no issue there. They're having a look in there, but they've said that they're happy with that. And that's probably the first real mistake made by Ospreys there. Morgan Morris just shooting up too quickly and creating that space for Leon Zas. Another good take under the high ball from Blomekes. He's been very solid despite the wet conditions. And having a stop here because I think Reese Williams has gone down in a heap with a head injury. So this will be a Stormers, I think it's actually a head clash here. So this we'll restart with the scrum for the Stormers. The time is currently off. Yeah, Blomekes is down as well as Reese Webb. So I think that there was a head clash. Because do you think the second party were too harsh on Dweber? Yeah, probably a little bit too harsh. Look, I don't think he played particularly well, but he deserved to be in the Springbok squad on what he's played like in his career. The last season not been great. He needs to get himself back in there. You know, I think that we can't write him off, for example. Got to back him. Do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, Yeah, Reese Hoop's having a bit of attention on the ground here. It doesn't look good for him. I think he might have to go off here as well. Right, here comes Willie Engelbrecht. I really rate Willie Engelbrecht. On for Hachiba Daimani. So Marcel Tennyson getting ready as well. I'm a big fan of Willie Engelbrecht. Very, very good player, and very much what they probably need in the tight phases here. Does the basics well, carries strongly. Very smart player as well. Gonna stay on here, which I don't like to see. I mean, when you're done, when you're down for that long and stuff like that, like, shouldn't you be having a check? Is it a penalty or something? Why is Stormers kicking it? So there was a penalty, apparently. That's the thing that I really like with Jabin, but the Bok had to get 85% actually with the line throwing. Yeah, 100%. I think that's the biggest thing. I think everyone. Yeah, I think he's a good, very good player, but he's got to get the lineups right, doesn't he? If he wants to be that's a bad. Oh, never mind, never mind. It's skew again. Yeah, Joseph Weber struggles continue. I wonder also if he starts getting a reputation where they're almost like yeah, it's so skew. It's really poor. That's 0 from 2 so far. Now Martin Tennyson getting some deocean on him. What the hell are they spraying on him? That's a huge scrum from the Stormers for the first time. It is a penalty for the Ospreys. Interesting that we've very rarely seen the team going forward being rewarded actually so far this evening. Yeah, I still can't believe it. It's actually been very strangely the way that both halves, the team that's had a bit of go forward, have very rarely been rewarded for it. Liso says, Bongi and Mark struggle on the line throws in the early days of Bok games. Yeah, it'll come. Look, the problem is that Joseph needed to come to Stormers and he needs to get it right here. So he's not started very well. And again, you're not going to write him off now. But he needs a season where he sorts it out and he starts getting it right. You know, because it's such a fundamental part of your game. If you can't do it, then it's going to be a problem. So that's the whole point of domestic rugby, isn't it? That's the whole point of the season, is that now he's got a long run of games to get it right. And it's an obvious work on for him. Why I think what's happening here? Things are being turned off and being turned back on. I'm very confused. Floating back, no. Jules that Morgan's just made a bit of a break here. Osprey's on the charge. Reese Webb. The turnover ball here. Evan Roos feeling a bit of space. Inside and outside, trying to get the offload away. It's gone forward. It's gone forward. Frustrating times. We're back for the scrum. Yeah, very, very messy. Very, very messy at the moment. Not much continuity. I mean, where's the advantage here, Mr. Ref? What's happening? What's the call here? Right, check out Marcel Tennyson. So just the one replacement left on the bench for the Stormers, which is the 6-2 split. It's Tennyson, Billy Engelbrecht, and not Junior Pocamela. That must be a lock. But I don't think... Oh, it's Ernst van Rijn. Ernst van Rijn, that's the one. Right, so here come a couple of replacements for Ospreys. They're putting on the new front row. So Boerts is on for Thomas Francis. There comes Sachin Gomezulu. Right, Sachin Gomezulu is on. I'm trying to work out where he was actually on for. Sorry, I was trying to sort something because we're having a bit of internet connectivity issues. Load shedding is making life doing this very difficult. We will have the post-match press conference, by the way, of John Dobson. So we'll have that for you guys up tonight as well, by the way, if you want to hear what he has to say, depending on what the result goes. So we've got Dan Lillard on for Roots. Now I'm hearing weird noises in my room. If I get murdered, people, just remember me. Baby, I like it. Da 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 dee da da da. Baby, I like it. La 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 la. Good, much better scrum there. Now taking Blomakeys. Finds touch. It's a good touch point of him as well. He's playing a bit of territory here. Albert's saying, Edwin's saying Evan Lewis has been quiet for these past few games. Albert's saying Lewis showing his frustration as teammates, not a very good team player. Sean Vera says, Osprey, I say, our second best behind Scarlets. That's my thoughts. Decent shout. Well, I do think Cardiff, when Fairtill's playing well, could be quite a good side. Yeah, it's difficult to say really when it comes to the Welsh sides because they're kind of all underperforming, aren't they? I mean, Scarlets haven't won a game this season. Dragons have won a game this season and they'll beat Munster. Ospreys have only won one game but have more points than Cardiff Rugby because Ospreys have got a habit of finding bonus points. So it's been kind of weird to sort of decide who is the best Welsh side this season. Yeah, I think Evan Lewis needs to calm down a little bit. I think he's very frustrated, but he needs to understand that he is a very important part of this team, and he's very quickly becoming a leadership figure within the side. So he's just got to turn it down a little bit, manage to channel that. Don't let his frustration affect his game. But again, you don't want to bring up you don't want to tone down the passion. You know, like something like Evan Edsabit. You don't want to turn down the passion. You don't want to turn down the aggression. You got to find a way to channel it correctly. I think that's kind of where he is in his game at the moment. I think there's a lot of frustration that sometimes is coming out at the moment, which is a bit frustrating. You don't like to see that. But scrum here, looking a lot better from the Stormers. They will have a reset, but not looking like the dominance that Osprey's got in the first half. See, and Zach Morgan, it's just getting far too easy. He's just in Evan Lewis's face, having a smile, having a laugh, and Evan Lewis is going to bite. And that's the frustration: is that you can't develop a reputation where it's too easy to bait you. You know, because then people just do it all the time. And if you do lose your cool and you get sin bin, then you've let your team down for what? For literally for what? Sean said Dan Bigger's leaving Northampton by the end of the season, so if that happens, he might go to a Welsh side unless he goes to France. Come to South Africa. Come play for the Lions. I'll take Dan Bigger down, yeah. I'll buy his beer. I think he'd be a fun person to drink beer with. Evan Roos off the back there, a bit of a poor pass. Paul de Vet's under a lot of pressure, but he does very well. Does Paul de Vet and then loses the ball forward. Every time this game threatens to get entertaining, another handling error creeps in. Now Ngomazulu puts it to the boot. That's going far too far. That's a terrible kick. Thankfully, he holds up, but that was almost very, very trouble for Sachin Ngomazulu because he's absolutely launched that. I'll go, I'll drop out, go down to the middle of the park. Then Robiki's try to bring out the takers, but it went straight through his legs there, so he does retreat. Gives it to Moin Libak. Moin Libak gets high in the air. Blomberkeys does chase, as does Sachin Ngomazulu. But not managed to get it. When Ngomazulu makes the tackle, Blomberkeys there over the ball. But good work from OSPREYS to maintain the possession. That's a good tackle. Solid defense here from Stormers. Yeah, we do have a change between them, by the way. I didn't notice that Morgan Williams is on for East Webb. Blomberkeys, once again, very good under the high ball. First receiver, Kitsoff giving to Moin Libak trying to inject a bit of pace. It's been wrapped up in the tackle, gives it away to Marcel Tennyson. Paul de Vet is digging, managing to pop it up to Kitsoff. Kitsoff this time. Oh, he gets it away to Joseph Davis. Not expecting that. Moin Libak's burst through the center, but knock on. Yeah, I don't think it was really on from Kitsoff. He put his head down as he was about to take into contact and then decided to pop up. So a little bit indecisive from the Stormers captain. And I mean, you can't really afford that at the moment. You've got to keep it tight. So Kitsoff just takes contact, recycles. That's what you should be doing. You don't need an offload in that situation. Here comes Ernst van Rijn, who replaces Sam Murat. Very highly rated by John Dobson as Ernst van Rijn. And Beer going off as well. Not Sam Murat's best game, must admit. I've been a little bit underwhelmed by him. I would say Sharks also do with a bigger. Yeah, no, listen, they probably really could. Probably more than the Lions, ironically. What do you think of what has happened to Austin Worcester in the English game? Sad to see. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is a warning for me. You've got to learn from these situations. You've got to realize these things can't happen all the time, and you've got to be far more. I think also from a regulation point of view, the Premiership does need to take a bit of ownership about the fact that they need to make sure these clubs are operating within budgets and within their own capacity. Penalty for the Ospreys at scrum time, and this is directly in front of the poles. First time they've really got reward. Have Ospreys, but this should be a pretty easy 3-point for Mila, bringing it into a one-try game. Stormers, 30 minutes to go. A little bit of pressure here. They could really use the penalties, what they could use, but also I think they could use a bit of time playing in the Ospreys half because they haven't really had of late. Even the try itself was very much against the run of play. We will be doing our draw for a 50 Rand free bet in about 5 minutes time, by the way. You can still go into that, go and click on the on the link in the comments, stuff like that. Go and enter, and you can stand a chance to win a free bet. Quite a few people have entered. It's a good kick from Milo. That will go over. I need them to score 1 more point to win my bet. So I could use with another penalty for them, and I need Stormers to win. Good save. Oh, he's fumbled that. Has it gone backwards or forwards? Well, it's a bit of pressure under Morgan Williams, and that's not a great kick. So, oh, those conditions. Look, I wouldn't play rugby in that. These are the conditions where, as a sub, when they tell you to take your jacket off, you just say no. Like you're being put in, and you no, I'm not. I'm actually very comfortable here. You guys go play. Looks fun. You guys enjoy that. I'm gonna be here. That looks absolutely horrendous. Eish. No, not for me. Not for me, hey. That's looking a bit better. And it's a penalty advantage as well from the maul there from the Stormers. Penalty. Now, what do they do? What do they do? Right, big call here. It's definitely kickable. I think they do. Yeah, they are going to take 3 points. Yeah, it was a much better, more set there from the Stormers. And Moinlibok now will be able to try and kick this to lengthen the gap a little bit. Right, Libok. Can you go 3 from 3? 4 from 4, actually. 4 from 4. Well, you can't even see the ball through all that rain and light, but it is over. These conditions look absolutely. I mean, they're literally there's just water steaming off them. How are you playing rugby in this, guys? Once again, Clayton Blommickey's safe as houses under that high ball. He's done really well from there. Now, a OSPREYS penalty is what I need. A young 3-pointer. That wins me all 3 of my bets. If I don't get any more points, then I'll have to settle for 2 wins. Oh, what a take from Angelo Davis. Goodness me, under the high ball. Then he's popped that ball back. Ernstford Rain. Good hands from Stephen Kitsoff, but it was knock on. There was a knock on. Fantastic take, though, from Angelo Davis. Goodness me. Even say, I feel as though the Sharks game last week was so sad. See how they fell apart at the end, having such a good beginning. Yeah, well, they need that 8-minute performance, don't they? They've got to find that 80-minute performance. And hopefully with the team that's selected, we'll start to see that tomorrow, because the team that's selected is childishly good. Right, Paul DeVette does make way for Gardner Masimla. You obviously have to make that replacement quite late because of injuries and stuff like that. So Gardner Masimla will only have 8 minutes to run out. Yeah, he probably wasn't particularly chuffed to be leaving the comfort of his seat. Short line out there, so it was the line was the call. Williams back to Adam Beard. Yeah, and Russ is... Yeah, Russ now shouting at the referee. He does need to calm himself down. He really does. Hey! Almost a good cross kick there. Leon Zas has gone down and he will go back for the penalty. So Osprey's all of a sudden getting an opportunity to get it back into this. A converted try does level things, by the way. They're going to have to go for the corner here, will Ospreys. Keeping it safe, there's Maya doesn't go too far, too deep. It's interesting that they, I mean, because you could have taken the 3 there, and if you go 12 points to 16, you're within the tries length of winning. The best you can get here is to even the game and then have an opportunity to try and find a penalty towards the end. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's ever a right or a wrong option, but 3 points must have been a bit tempting. Also, oh, that's a very good early maul. Having said all of that, but now it's been stopped, but they're still going, and it's penalty advantage as well. Williams goes to Dortmund, the first receiver. Nagy, it's a good tackle by Leon Zas, come up off his line. And they're going to go back for the penalty, no advantage there. So Storm is very much under the pump. Marvin always gone down now. I think that's pretty tactical. Yeah, I do think this is quite tactical from Marvin Ori going down there. So it's difficult to sort of really comment on the game in terms of like players and stuff like that because it has just been so messy and so so stop and start. But I think that players who for me have impressed, and Clayton Blomkeys has been superb, like faultless. He's really done well under the high ball. I thought Myers actually going into the game quite nicely. I thought Reese Webb controlled things. Moni Liebach's been very good. I think a very different side of him we've seen him. His tactical kicking's a lot better. Osprey's tied 5. Hands off to them, you know. The starting front row, Dickie Smith, Thomas Francis, Dewey Lake, Adam and Jones, and Adam Beard very much set the tone. Stormers have done well to remain in the fight and then take the opportunities, but Osprey's tied 5 has done very well. Big more defense needed now as the Ospreys backline jump in. Yeah, this is going to go over. They're going to go over. They are over. The Ospreys are over. What a moment. What a moment. With a kick to come, the Ospreys could level things. Oh, my word. Stormers could be coming up short here. Yeah, this has been coming. I have felt that the entire evening, the Ospreys tied 5 have had the measure of Stormers. They have been the better tied 5. And now they've just converted. Now it's a big kick here. It came from Myler. Referee wants to have a check at something, I think. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. They're gonna have a check here. They reckon there might be a bit of track and trailer. Could have peeled away here. Could be obstruction. So they have to check the old truck and trailer. No issue with the grounding. The question is just when they changed the angle, did they split from the original more? Was the obstruction? Try stands. Try stands. What do you mean it's not an easy kick? It's not that difficult. It's a kick somebody with Stephen Myers quality should be getting. Has he nailed it? He has nailed it. Scores are level. Right, 16-16. Is there yet another twist in the game? Good tackle there by Watchalong Zulu. Now Stormers. Ball is available there because Angela Davis looked like he was a bit pegged there. The question is, can the Stormers carve themselves out one opportunity? A penalty would do it for them. A penalty would do it for Ospreys. There's 2.5 minutes left. Who will have the final say? Morgan Williams does find touch, so it will be Stormers' ball. They've got 2.5 minutes to carve themselves one last opportunity. I don't think a draw would be I think a draw would be a very fair result, to be fair. I don't think either side's been better, to be honest. I think that the draw would be pretty fair. As results go, I think that would be, yeah, not far off the best result. And interesting because nobody actually predicted a draw. So what we're going to do is we're going to then do a running wheel for the names who predicted in the time, and we'll give away 100 rebate like that. Right, good things. First things first, Weber has managed to hit his line. He has managed to hit Marvin Ori. Now, Simmon's gone down to see across the angle here. Stormers can't afford any mistakes. 1.5 minutes left. But if they can find a penalty, they're already inside Marnie Liebach territory. Joseph Draver carrying strong. Now, Evan Ruiz getting over the advantage line as well. This is good for the Stormers, but they've got to remain calm. Liebach popping up to Trashman Gomezulu. Gomezulu going down to URC, comes back on the angle. Got to keep this tight. Can't get too fancy here. Marvin Ori now taking it in. Going into the 6th phase here of the Stormers. Kits off on the angle. Ospreys can't afford one mistake. Liebach sees a bit of space. It closes very quickly. Masimla directing traffic here. Now Marvin Ori. 8 phases. One mistake from Ospreys and Stormers have won it. Ernst van Rijn. Liebach with the drop goal. What have you done? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I mean, yeah, sure, he nails it. He's the hero. But, I mean, they had ascendancy. They were looking pretty good, their Stormers. Their best patch to play the entire half. I mean, it's going to be a draw. What have you done, Marnie Liebach? Why would you do that? Literally, they were going forward. They had gained about 10 meters. Well, it's not over yet, but Stormers can't afford to make a single mistake, and they're all the way back inside their own half. But Marnie Liebach now being caught. I can't understand that decision. Now, the Ospreys will be desperate to keep the Stormers inside their own own half here, but playing Robbie Keith cuts on the inside. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. You can't take any risks here, and it's so wet as well. Similar going to Marvin Ori, but they're a long way from where they need to be. And there's turnover ball. Knock on. It'll be a draw. Or will it? Or will it? No, Ospreys are still going. Now, if the Stormers make the mistake. Now, all of a sudden, the Stormers under pressure. If they lose this, I think Martin Liebach has just thrown away what was a very accomplished game from him. The best thing they can have for Stormers now is a penalty for them. That's the only way they can win this game. Oh, and they've dropped it forward again. Now, all of a sudden, the Stormers got turnover ball. I mean, why would you guys are busy throwing like miracle offloads over time? Stupid, 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 stupid. Marnie Liebach, why would you do that? I just don't understand that. All right, we're going to be spinning the wheel for our 100 Rand free bet, and then we'll spin the wheel for our 50 Rand free bet because nobody predicted a draw. But we're nice people, you know. So we're not just going to then say, you know, according to the T's and C's that nobody gets a free bet. We will do a young wheel to draw. To be fair, I don't think you actually have an option for a draw, so I think we'll maybe look at that. Anyway, so we've now put in everybody who entered in time into the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Names has spat out Tevron. Right, Tevron, you are the winner of a 100 Rand free bet, courtesy of BetCozy. We will be in contact with you to get that, and yeah, so congratulations to Tevron. He's won himself a 100 Rand free bet. We're now going to add a couple more names to the 50 Rand free bet vibe, so just stay with me for a few seconds. Right, lots of names going around this wheel, lots of rain going around. And we're still going around the circle here. Why is this taking so long, people? Like, let's get to the point here. Let's get to the point. Right, and Edwin. Right, Edwin is the winner of our 50 Rand free bets. So congratulations to Edwin. You guys will hopefully have those free bets loaded for you tomorrow, but you do have to have a BetCozy account. So make sure you go and do that. Everybody else, thank you very much for joining me over the evening. It was a very fun watch along. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Remember, we will have the Stormers press conference on the channel this evening, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you very much for watching. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel on the way out.